Do you feel lost when you improvise? Imagine if your guitar could talk back to you saying, hey, don't play that, play this. Well, believe it or not, it's possible and even easy. No, it's not a new technology and it's nothing I put into my morning coffee. But it is one of the simplest things that you can do to improve your play and remove the frustration of knowing what to do next. And you can do it today. Anyone who's progressed past the beginning stage of soloing knows that the difficulty in improvising isn't that you forget the scale patterns. It's that it's tough to know what to do with that knowledge on the spot. The first thing most of us do is to try and memorize a bunch of licks. But while that can be helpful, it can also put us into panic mode, trying to remember which lick do we play next. So how did a soloist like Johnny Winter or Dwayne Allman, or today Warren Haynes or Derek Trucks or Marcus King, how do they just keep playing on and on seemingly forever without running out of ideas? Do they know a secret scale? No. Do they know a ton of licks? Maybe, but that's not as relevant as you might think. But they all did or do something constantly that helps keep their solos going on and on. Now, before I tell you about the technique, I want to make this observation. Have you ever had dinner or lunch with a friend and the conversation just kept on going on for hours and hours? I bet you did. And I bet you also didn't stay up all night studying or memorizing what to say. So how? How did you do it? The answer is that your friend helped move the conversation around by responding to what you said or vice versa. So what's the technique? Well, you've probably guessed it's called call and response. But wait, before you click away and think, oh, I already know this, hang on. Because if you're still wondering what to play next, you probably don't know it as well as you think you do. But even though knowing and doing are not the same thing, it is one of the simplest things that you can do to get virtually an endless number of ideas, even if you only know one scale. So let's cover the fundamentals. Before we get too deeply into it, here's an example most of us will know. Of course, that's the Jimmy Page Heartbreaker solo, a little piece of it, right? But in this line, here's the call, and now here's the response. Simple as that. Okay, great, easy enough. But instead of doing what most people do, and that's focus on what's different between the two lines, let's focus on what's the same with the call and the response here. First and foremost, it's the cadence, the beat and duration of the lick. Notice that the notes and the space take up about the same amount of time for each part. Now, this is a key observation because what I can tell you is most players think about where to press their fingers, what notes to play, rather than the timing of what they're trying to play. And the call and response primarily is about the timing. Now let's take a more full-blown but still a very simple example to show how this is true and to show how easily you can do it too. Now this example was using the A minor pentatonic box that we all know and love to keep it simple, but it works for any scale pattern that you want. Now let's take a look at the tab and the notation along with the lick so we can clearly see how we're dividing up the call and the response. All right, so here's the first call that I played. And here's the response that I played. Notice that they take up the same duration, they end at the same time. Now forget about the fancy rake that I did or the scale, just focus on the timing and it'll help you a lot. Now here's the second call and the second response. Same idea there. If you're thinking, that's too easy, you got it, it's easy. But here's something else that's super simple that you can use to enhance this idea. Remember how you struggled to learn those pentatonic positions, but you really mostly use this one? I know, I get it. Well, here's a way that you can easily build up chops in those other positions using call and response. Try playing your call in one position, and then your response in a different position. Again, play in one position for your call, and then your response in another position. Works great. See what I mean? It's a fantastic way to sustain your ideas, to keep them going, and it's a great way to get fresh ideas too. But in order to make this work, you need to know what notes to stop on, where to end your phrases. Well, you're in luck because that's exactly what I show in this video. And bonus, it'll help you stop noodling too, especially when you're improvising. So click here and I'll see you in the next video. I'll see you on down the road.